Once considered an underground gathering for bohemians and free spirits of all stripes, Burning Man has since evolved into a destination for social media influencers, celebrities, and the Silicon Valley elite. This year's Burning Man was blessed by an appearance of Mother Nature herself. She decided to bring an exhibit of her own in the form of unseasonable rain. Mind the air quotes here, but the unanticipated rainfall that was totally predicted by the weather services, mind you. I'll get back to that a little later. This is all thematic, believe me. Has generated news stories where the general news media has converged on a rather boringly consistent take on the situation the Burning Man participants found themselves in.
Developing news tonight, there's no way in or out for thousands of people trapped at the Burning Man Festival in the Nevada desert. It's all because of torrential rainfall that's turned the area into a giant mud pit. But with more rain on the way, things could get worse.
And it's an interesting contrast between how they will depict it in several different ways and how I would think about some parts of it, at least. A contrast that one participant by the name of Judson Graham himself ended up producing because he was sidelined from what he had intended to cover at Burning Man. He caught wind of what the news media was saying about their circumstance and had a few choice words of his own. Very nice video. Link in the description if you want to watch it. I do recommend it.
September 3rd at 9 a.m. From what I'm hearing right now, the gate is not going to be open until tomorrow in the middle to later part of the day. I just felt really called to make a piece of media about this, even though it has nothing to do with what I normally make content about, because I'm here on the ground. And after seeing what was portrayed in all of the news and actually being here on the ground and seeing like the actual burner community coming together, people helping each other out, people making the most of the situation that they're in instead of getting stuck and not just physically but mentally in the state of this is bad that we're stuck here. It's just a really strange thing that I witnessed and I've been a part of and felt really obligated to make a piece of media about it.
What's going on, buddy? This is bad. We're at Burning Man, but it's not dusty and windy how it's supposed to be. The dry lake bed is rehydrating.
Tens of thousands of people are being told to shelter in place at the popular Burning Man Festival because they are literally stuck in the mud. They're trapped.
Situation at Burning Man.
Being told to conserve food and water.
Burning Man Festival, redubbed Muddy Man.
It's right now.
Yeah,
so trending, like on Twitter, Burning Man's a national state of emergency.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I feel we are stuck here. We will have to wait to save food, save water, and wait for the storm to get over.
Do you have enough water and food?
I think so.
This is an interesting contrast because he's spot on about the war particular lens most news organizations converged on. But then he himself became subject to a distortion that to the best of my knowledge, actually originated on Twitter. It was nowhere else. And in fact, AP reported that it was a bunch of conspiracy stuff. So the old adage, if it bleeds, it leads, holds true. Cave and emptor, I guess. And now for the Culture Clash segment, I'm going to show you an A-B roll between a news program interview of a Burning Man participant and one of Judson's interviews, which I think is representative of most of his interviews. It demonstrates, in my mind, very clear cultural clash, I want to call it, over the definition of self-reliance. I'll make more comment after you see this stuff.
Despite the difficult conditions, Date says one of the festival's core principles is self-reliance. So while no one might have predicted this, he says many are prepared.
This truly is a challenging event. I refer to it as a survival school. We come out here and we have to do whatever we have to do to survive these elements and unpredictable conditions.
How do you think that the rain actually positively impacted Burning Man?
Look at people start walking finally.
Yes.
And helping each other. That's the main thing. They helping, if somebody have a problem, they helping each other, and no more driving electric bikes, and people was forced to walk. What Burning Man should do, like one day will be bike riding stop.
Do you feel stranded?
No, I don't feel stranded at all.
Yeah, I don't feel stranded. Why would you? I mean, this is what we're here for, right?
All right, man.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good
Happy
night.
birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Did you notice the difference in vocabulary here? The guy who I presume is a tech guy from Silicon Valley is talking about self-reliance and this being a survival school and a struggle and yada, 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 versus what sounds like a Dutch guy saying, no, we're getting by. It's like people have come out of the shells because of this unusual weather. And they're doing something really great, which is they're coming out and helping each other and being a community. Very, very different takes on the same phenomena. And I just look at it and I'm struck by the idea that American society really has to shove a self-reliance square peg into a communal round hole and try to make it fit. I have to imagine that they've really never been exposed to any other concept, and probably would be terrified to contemplate it because it sounds too much like that Marxist word. So bizarre. Also, as a teenager, most of my teenager years, I went on hiking trips in Northern California, a couple hundred miles west of where Burning Man now takes place. And I just, an event of 80,000 people where people are car camping in an RV with a shower and a refrigerator and a cooking surface and connectivity to the internet and a bed in it. Just the idea that a couple of days of sheltering in place is somehow a survival exercise. You gotta love them. It's so silly. It's like, oh, guys. Yeah, Silicon Valley and their rugged individuals. Before I forget, let me respond to the comment that the rain that fell on Black Rock was unpredictable. Dear, I had a conversation with a gym employee a little over a week before Burning Man. He was going to go to Burning Man as his vacation. And I asked him, well, it's high chance of rain occurring in that. That's what all the weather predictions are saying. He says, yeah, I know. My friends and I are just going to keep tabs on that. If it's a problem, we'll go elsewhere. So, yeah. I watch a couple of weather channels because, well, the weather is more interesting than it should be these days. So this is why I asked the question. But clearly, the simple proletariat workman understood and was aware of the greater world much more thoroughly than savvy, informed tech lords who came to revel in spectacle. Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny because if I had intended to actually go to an event where this kind of inclement weather was predicted, I think I would have brought a couple of knee-high waterproof boots and maybe waders or something akin to that to sort of deal with the mud. It stuns me that they have to craft this image of adversity that could not have been foreseen. And it, again, just reminds me of a common sense and theme that I communicate, that the people in tech and the people who are leaders of industry are not as on top of the world as they would like us to believe, and that they would like themselves to think. Just saying. So to cap the commentary on the cognitive dissonance between elites who think they're so on top of the world, I just want to remark to a news person that if an influencer and Chris Rock are being chauffeured out of a muddy mess,
DJ Diplo sharing this video of him and comedian Chris Rock trudging through miles of mud to evacuate.
You really shouldn't try to use the word trudge. That means walking, okay? Not chauffeuring. Not being carried away by paid employees. Just saying, I mean, God, these people are so ignorant.